the new theme song I'm working on for Dad's Den. Not convinced. Probably needs a little bit of more work. So, welcome, my friends, to the show that will end in about an hour. Dad Live in the Den, where we're talking about a little bit of retro vintage news, nerdy stuff, usually. Some new releases, new campaigns, some new acquisitions, stuff that has shown up at my doorstep or that I carried in myself from a comic book shop. We're going to talk about some movie reviews later. Maybe the most eclectic bunch of movies I've reviewed on one of these particular streams. And we're going to talk about Heavy Metal #1, the new Heavy Metal. I showed off that I had gotten it like a week or two ago. Now I'm about 80% through it, so I feel like I can give a bit of a review. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about is a toy, a vintage toy that I've wanted for a while and finally managed to secure at a very nice little price. So let's get on with some news from the world of, oh no, I don't want that. That's the wrong button. Where am I? There we go. All right. So this has been making the rounds. We got a new poster for the Superman movie. Not sure who's directing this. They've really kept it sort of quiet. No, they haven't. So the new James Gunn Superman movie. Not terrible. Not great. I grew up in a period of really, 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 really good movie posters. Like where you'd buy those, you'd put them up on the wall. That was amazing. So I'm maybe a little bit biased, but it's not terrible. It's fine. And then of course we got a new trailer as well. And the trailer was fine. I don't know if it revealed anything massively new that the other one did, but so like I've gone back and forth on the Superman movie. Because generally speaking, I'm not a professional reviewer. I go to things that I think I'm probably going to enjoy. Maybe I won't enjoy it once I get there, but I do not waste my time with stuff that I'm going, I don't want to watch this thing. Hey, Finch and Spook, awesome. Sure. Yeah, we're going to get to that too. So I started out going, James Gunn Superman movie. I don't know. I've liked one James Gunn movie. I haven't watched many of them. I'm not real big on the guy. He seems, frankly, like a bit of a douchebag. I didn't roar with laughter at all of his pedophilia jokes on Twitter. So I wasn't super happy he was going to be heading the entire DC movie lineup, whatever. Obviously, there are people who love James Gunn. So they're probably, that's a good reason to be excited about it. I'm not. So we got that first trailer, and I've mentioned this before. I watched it the first time. I couldn't put the sound up. I just kind of clicked it. And so with the sound off, I was like, this looks like a friggin' mess. And to Finns the Spooks, to what he said, yeah, a lot of characters that probably don't need to be there. It just looked messy. Then I watched it with the sound on, and I'm like, I kind of liked it with the sound on. And it's mostly, I'll be honest with you, it's mostly the Superman, music from John Williams. Love that music. Okay, so we get this new one. And in between, so I'd gone to like, well, okay, I think maybe I will go see the thing. I'll go watch it maybe opening night, opening day, whatever. And get some content out of it. What the heck? I might like it. And then you start getting a couple revelations that one of them for sure is true. A couple. One of them I'm still not sure about. So we get the whole thing with the with the ridiculous mutant monkeys doing I'm like going, oh, I don't know. If you're going to go full Silver Age, you kind of need to go full Silver Age, and you probably need to set it back in the 60s. So I'm like, I'm not. And then like this 10-minute long scene of Lois interviewing Superman, and she already knows he's Superman and Clark Kent, which I'll be honest, I don't really like. And I still won't. I don't know that this has been confirmed, so I'm not going to say what it is, but there's apparently a scene in it, and my wife and I are both like, if that scene's in the movie, I'm not watching it, period, ever. I'm just not. It might not be. They might have taken it out, yeah, exactly, right? So then I was kind of like, no, I don't think I'm going to see this movie. So then and then I saw that trailer thing for Peacemaker, and I'm like going, oh God, I just don't like this dude's sense of humor that much. I think I'm probably out for this whole DC thing. So then this trailer comes out, and it kind of left me going, yeah, I'm still not really interested. If I hear a massive amount of just great reviews for this thing, and if I hear that one scene in particular is not in it, or it's not what it was made to seem like it might be, maybe I'll go see it at some point later. Maybe I'll go see it, or I'll see it like streaming. Because yeah, for me, the new way of digital filming and all the CGI, it just makes things look cheap to me. It makes everything look like a CW show. I'll be honest, like even Top Gun Maverick, I hated the filming in that thing. If it had been on film, if you'd done the exact same filming on film instead of with this high def digital crap, I think it would have looked fantastic. The super high def digital, to me, makes everything look cheap. It makes it look like direct to video crap that we used to put, on the shelves in the video store back in the day. Well, Fins, I don't want to. It involves crypto. And it sounds like kind of something that he did in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 involving animals. And I'm like, nah, dog lover, I don't like that stuff. I don't know, though. It might not be as bad as the one person who was talking about things in it made it sound. And it might have even been cut from the whole thing at this point. I think if you're pushing crypto to clearly get kids and dog lovers into a film, to pull a scene like that on them would be really, really, really shitty. So then I ask myself, would James Gunn do something really, 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 really shitty? And the answer comes back, yes. Which is one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of his. I enjoyed the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I had fun with it. I didn't love the characters, but overall, I thought it was a pretty fun movie. I didn't like the second one at all. So I didn't bother to watch the third, and that Suicide Squad thing looked awful to me. But I don't like that version of all the characters to begin with. I'm an old comic dude. I guess that's part of what it comes down to. There's two things. I like comic books and comic book superheroes. If you're going to make a movie that feels like that thing that I enjoyed, I might go watch it. But if it looks like a version of the superhero, or maybe even just maybe not the greatest movie in the world, well, I'm not going to go see it. I don't want to see your version of Superman. I want to see the version of Superman that I enjoyed. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't make that movie, because other people might enjoy that version of Superman. They might dig it, and that's cool. I don't feel like every movie needs to be made for me, but I'm also not going to go watch a movie that doesn't seem like it would appeal to me. And frankly, there are some pretty bad movies out there that I like because they're goofy, like the old Captain America TV movies, right? And that's not a great adaptation of the character, although technically it was supposed to be Steve Rogers' son or something. And it was kind of weird. But they're kind of goofy. They're kind of corny. I like them from that angle. So that's just how I am. Like, my interest is in the comic book superheroes. I'll go see a movie if it looks like it's going to kind of dovetail with that. And if it doesn't look like it's going to really dovetail with that, or if it's a version of the characters that came along later that I don't really care for, I'm not going to go see it. I don't have any need to. So there's that issue. Issue number 2 is, oh, this looks like a James Gunn movie. I mean, like a movie about James Gunn, frankly. Well, we're going to do the cancel culture thing because I had to go through something like that. No, you didn't. You made horrible jokes on Twitter. People found them, and Disney fired you. Okay? And you admitted that you made the jokes and that you shouldn't have. And then you had Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and you moved right into the DC thing. Buddy, you weren't canceled. You got in trouble for saying some really shitty things. Like, not shitty like political, shitty like, dude, you're making jokes about diddling kids. Ha, ha, ha. Isn't that funny? So I don't need to see your soul searching of people were mean to me online in a Superman movie. Now, the idea of Superman, you know, a campaign by Lex Luthor to discredit him, hey, that's great. That you see that in the comic books all the time in comic books. That's fine. If it's specifically because of what you went through, you know, screw off, right? We get a redesign of Crypto and the way Crypto acts to be more like James Gunn's dog. We get comic books now with James Gunn on the cover. We get James Gunn, James Gunn, James Gunn, James Gunn, James Gunn, James Gunn, James Gunn. So if you love James Gunn, awesome. You're going to probably love the movie. But if you don't, I don't know that he is capable of transcending his own self-regard to give you a really good Superman movie. Like, I'm talking with my wife about this. I go, it's a new movie for an all new universe, etc. Right? So you got to introduce Clark Kent and Superman, like your take on them. Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, Perry White. You have that whole crew. I think Cat Grant is in it too, and Crypto, which a lot of people are unfamiliar with. Although there was a cartoon, so there's a lot of folks in their 20s, 30s now who do know who Crypto is, which is groovy. You got to introduce Lex Luthor. Okay, because that's your villain for the show. Great. All right. So you got a lot of characters that need to get a decent introduction in your film. Now you're also going to introduce Metamorpho, which I'll be honest, I didn't really like the look of the character in the thing. Is he wearing like cargo shorts? What the fuck? Guy Gardner, who is so downstream from the beginning of the Green Lantern series that it's kind of weird to pop him in here. Mr. Terrific, who most people haven't heard of. I mean, out in the mainstream. So he really needs to be introduced. Hawk Girl, Hawk Woman. I'm not sure what they're calling the character in this one. Okay. Again, Justice League cartoon. Maybe there's more people out there who know her and dig her, but you still got to introduce the character. Ultraman is just showing up. I'm not sure what version he is. You're going to have the Engineer, who I've never friggin' heard of in my life, because I didn't read those particular comics. It's like from a whole universe that got folded in, like the Authority stuff, you know, which again, I'm not very familiar with. And they seem to have dropped that. You really need to introduce Superman and his mythos in movie number 1 to get things rolling. And it looks like you're either going to have to spend a lot of time introducing other characters and giving them screen time, or you're going to do a very half-assed introduction of those characters, which may not help them. By the way, 10 minutes of the film apparently is that interview between Lois and Superman. 10 minutes on film is a long-ass time. Take it from a guy who goes through movies, grabbing little images so I can review them. You know, 2 minutes is a fairly long time on film. 10 minutes is a ton. But instead of one story being overly stretched, 3 stories. Yeah, exactly. See, it's too freaking much. But that's how James Gunn likes to do stuff. Great. But this isn't the James Gunn movie. It's the Superman movie. Okay. It's kind of like, and this is a director who I like, Generally, I don't like all of his stuff, but I generally like him. Tim Burton, right? Tim Burton's doing a Batman movie. It's not going to be mainstream Batman. It's going to be Tim Burton's Batman. Now that worked. That worked. But if you know what he was going to do with Superman, you go, I'd love to see what that looked like, but it probably wouldn't have worked that well. But that's Tim Burton. He's kind of an auteur. So I tend to like his original movies better than his versions of other things, like Planet of the Apes and stuff like that, because they're very Tim Burtonized. So I'm more like Nightmare Before Christmas, Edward Scissorhands, stuff that's kind of his own original thing. Awesome. Not as much, although, I love the 89 Batman movie. I was obsessed with it at the time. Obsessed with that movie. I watched that in the theater probably 25 times. Probably. Any rate. It's kind of the same thing with James Gunn. I think I don't know. I don't know that he's the right person for a Superman movie. And he's also the ultra boss. So nobody's going to be able to go in and say, James, you might want to dial this back a little bit. He's kind of can do whatever he wants. And I don't know if he has the discipline or he can transcend himself to make something. And maybe he can. If, like I said, if it gets great reviews and if that one scene is not in it, I will go watch it. I'd like to see a good Superman movie. But here's something I will say. So Perry Chan, who is an editor, he works for Nerdrotic, and maybe does some other stuff too. He did his own version of the Superman trailer. And when I first thought, is this like something funny? Because he has a savage sense of humor. And one that a lot of people probably don't like because he's very pointed about things. But no, he just recut the trailer, uses the original John Williams Superman music. And I watched this thing and I'm like, okay, if that's the trailer I had seen a couple days ago, I would have said, I think maybe I will go see this movie. Now, his version of the trailer isn't necessarily what we're going to get in the movie. I think the trailer we got is more like what we're actually going to get in the movie. It's going to be probably kind of a mess, but really good. So it does tell you, making a good trailer is an art in and of itself. And the one they produced, again, not terrible, but not great. And it does make me think, if this dude working on his own could make a better trailer for your movie than you can, what does that tell me about the quality of the movie itself? Not sure. Okay, anyways, that's enough of Superman. God bless the whole enterprise. I hope it does well. I don't like seeing people fail. And it doesn't look like they're trying to do something that's crappy to Superman. I don't think so. I think it's done with a certain amount of reverence, at least for some versions of the character. And that's the other thing. It looks like he's just picking pieces of Superman from 100 years and wadding them together. And I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but I'm not hoping it fails or anything like that. I'm just not sure. I'm actually not sure I want to see a James Gunn Superman movie at this point. We'll see. Maybe there'll be other trailers. Maybe we'll find out some stuff that'll convince me. But on the trailer side, the other trailer I watched this week, Lupin III, the movie. Now that's a friggin' great trailer. Again, on the subject of what Perry Chan did with Superman, that's just a good trailer. If you never watched Lupin III anime, I love them. I think they're great. And what I love with the Japanese too is they seem so much more capable of respecting what has come before. You look at this thing and you go, yeah, that looks like a Lupin III movie, man. It looks rad. It looks a lot of fun, but it also, you don't look at it and go, what? Like they're doing what now with this character? Wait, who's that supposed to be? You can recognize everybody. It looks like it sticks to the formula and just makes something really entertaining. So you might want to go out and see, or go out, hit YouTube, look for the trailer, Lupin III. I think they dropped it a few days ago. I think the movie might be coming out in 2026. I'm not sure if it's coming out this year, and it's in Japanese. Pardon me, got a mustache hair in my mouth. My own mustache, don't worry. So I don't know, like, it probably wouldn't be released in the theaters necessarily here in Vegas where I'm at, but it just looked good, and it was a fun trailer to watch, if nothing else. Now, this is another thing that just came up before I started my stream. The first look at Galactus from the Fantastic Four movie, which is a movie I'm frankly not going to go watch because I just don't like Pedro Pascal in general, and specifically as Mr. Fantastic. So I'm done with it. Whatever. Enjoy. Have fun. If you love Pedro Pascal, go have fun with it. I'm not against you. I'm not angry at you. I don't like the dude. So from this view, you go, all right, that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty Galactus-y. All right. The up close version of his face, I'm like, not sure. But from, what's the old good from afar, but far from good or something? I don't know. The one thing that gets me is it's like the helmet and stuff is very complex, very Baroque, but you go, I don't know, man. You're sort of going for a mid-century modern vibe in what you're doing with this thing, which a lot of people love. And I'm kind of going, Fantastic Four is supposed to be sci-fi in the real world. So the real world around them should look like New York of whatever time period, and they should be the ones with the cool stuff. If the whole city has a sort of retro-futuristic vibe, you kind of miss the point already of Fantastic Four. But there's a minimalist aspect, part of it because they're working in comic books at the time, and they actually had to get these things out every month. And Kirby was drawing a lot of comics, so he doesn't have time to overly detail things. Although we know Kirby could sort of do that in certain ways. He knew how to pick and choose. But yeah, a lot of the little ditty bops all over I don't know, man. I'm kind of going, and the face was like, up close, the face was kind of weird. And I'm like, is this like a still from what you're doing CGI wise? Because their version of the, he is like Godzilla sort of walking through the city. So it might not matter. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, when you're talking about technology in a sort of realistic manner, it's not more complex than it has to be. But I mean, then again, it's Fantastic Four, Kirby with his Kirby tech. So it may work. I don't know. With the first picture I saw, I was like, because their Silver Surfer looked friggin' awful. I know he's silver, but you kind of need to make him look more chrome to get that, I think, the right look and the look of what you got in the comic books. And silver is actually not, in reality, is not as shiny. I mean, if it's really polished up, but it's still sort of a gray. And the surfer in the comics usually looks more like white and very, very gleamy. And I think you needed to do that, right? So he should probably look more like the Chrome Surfer than the Silver Surfer. That being said, so the close-up, I was kind of like, The far off one, I go, oh, no, that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty good. Yeah, and that's the thing. Kirby, trying to realize Kirby in real life is really, really tough. I think if you hire a really good art designer, you could probably kind of do it. It would be more of us looking at it going, oh yeah, I feel the Kirby influence. I can feel it. No, it doesn't look exactly like Kirby, but I can kind of feel the influence there. I think that's the best you could do with Kirby. But anyway, I just want to show that. So it looks okay. It looks okay, but the up close was a little rough. But maybe that's just like, it's actually going to look a lot better in the film. And people can let me know if it looks better in the film. I have no interest in watching it. Let's take a look at some new releases and new campaigns that caught my eye this week. There's not a ton of them, But this one definitely did. Now, 1/6 scale, X-Men 97 Nightcrawler from Mondo. It says pre-orders at mondoshop.com, but I couldn't see anything for like when this is actually being released. So it may be one of those cases of like, well, pre-order it and maybe someday it will actually show up at your door. But look, I love Nightcrawler. I think he might be my favorite X-Men. And I think that looks pretty friggin' rad. That is the Nightcrawler that I knew and loved in the comic books. And people said that X-Men 97 cartoon was actually pretty darn good. I don't know, maybe someday I'll take a look at it. I didn't see it the first time around. But anyway, so that's apparently pre-order. Go to mondoshop.com and check it out. And maybe they have more info up now. When I looked at it, they didn't. Skybound has announced a Universal Monsters Invisible Man miniseries written by James Tinian IV and art by Donnie. Not sure how you pronounce it, D-A-N-I, all caps. Launching this August. I thought the art that they showed off looked pretty good. It looked pretty cool. Does kind of look like it's probably set in the past, although I don't know for sure. But may be worth a look, especially if you love the Universal Monsters and the old movie with Claude Rains. Rippaverse has pre-orders up for their first anthology, Saints and Sinners. It's doing very well in pre-order. You got stories written by Eric July, the Saska Sisters, The Critical Drinker, Mahler, Jay David, as from Heel versus Babyface. A lot of first-time comic book writers in there. Well, I'll take that back. 2 first-time comic book writers in there. But it looked intriguing, and the covers looked pretty cool. The concepts behind the stories look pretty cool, so I ordered one, and we'll see. We'll see how they do, and, it's kind of good to see some folks. The Invisible Man does look a little Mignola, and it actually reminded me a little bit, too, of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, just a little bit. Like a little angled off, well, like Mignola. So at any rate, we'll see. I kind of like seeing some folks who are out there who are critics actually putting their toes in the water and trying to write stuff, and we'll see how it works. And, but it takes something to put that out there when you've actively criticized the writing of others, because now you're opening yourself up to criticism. So we'll see how that does. So, David Lucarelli, I saw him on X talking about Jacqueline Jones #2. Now, Lucarelli wrote a comic called Tinseltown, 2 miniseries done with Alterna Comics that were about a woman who's a studio cop in Hollywood during the silent era. And I liked them. I thought they were great. I enjoyed the art a lot. So this is something a little bit similar. It's a female cop in a, kind of make-believe California city. It's sort of inspired by Dick Tracy in the Spirit. And some of the art, I'm like, yeah, I could definitely see like a Dick Tracy feel there. On Kickstarter now, $10 for a copy. So I snagged one. I like the look. The add-ons are like a police badge patch from the city she's in. I want to say it was Themis, I think, or maybe you'd pronounce it Timus, probably Themis. So, and a cherry-scented police car air freshener. It looks like a old style police. Oh, kind of like in the image there, yeah. So I thought this was kind of cool add-ons, but primarily, of course, I'm interested in the comic. So I'm going to give that one a try. It's issue #2. If I dig it, I'll go see if I can find issue #1 out there anywhere. But I thought it was cool, and I like Dick Tracy a lot. So inspired by, hopefully it's inspired closely by. And then Cruel Universe 2 from EC Comics, Cosmic Horror Anthology, releases August 6th. Looks pretty cool. Dude, I'll be honest with you. I'm a sucker just for the look of that cover. What was that? I don't know if I'm supposed to be having trouble buying indie comics online. Oh, the Dick Tracy comics. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing when you're dealing with indie. Like, it's kind of like comic book shop owners back in the day. You get a lot of people who loved comics and knew nothing about retail or running a business. And they were terrible at it. And those shops would pop up and then they'd go away. I think it's kind of the same with indie publishers, especially if it's an artist publisher. Like, you know how to make comics, draw them, write them, whatever. Do you know how to distribute? Do you know how to set your prices up properly? Do you know how to do customer service? And for some of them, the answer is, yeah, they do pretty darn good with it. And for others, no, they really don't know what they're doing. And yeah, that happens. Like, there's a couple books out there that, like, I'm probably never going to get because they didn't really set the campaign up right. And I lose the money on the deal. And you know it going in if you're going to do this stuff. So, but yeah, in fact, I had an issue, and I'm going to talk about some of their comics in just a minute. With Archie Comics, I placed an order for 3 of their sort of digest type books, which arrived, and for one of their newer facsimile books. And so placed the order, and maybe a couple weeks later, I'm looking at my email and I'd gotten a notice like they've shipped. And so I was kind of like, okay, they shipped, great. I'll get them out. But then I looked at it again and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's not the facsimile book I ordered. That's something else on my shipping thing. I was like, oh, shoot, man. Like, and I knew I didn't do it because, like, I didn't even look at that book on their site. I couldn't have accidentally put it in my cart instead of the facsimile. So they have an email you can send something to. So I shot an email to them. I said, I don't know if there's anything that can be done about this because it already shipped, but I just want to let you know that this shows up on my order. And I did check the actual order, and it showed up there too. So it's showing up in my order, this book. I know I did not buy it. I know I got the facsimile instead. So even if you can't do anything about it at this point, I just want to let you know there could be some flaw in your system or whatever. Never heard back from them. Never heard back from them. Order arrives, and it was the facsimile book. It was what I ordered. So it was some other kind of error, but I'm going, you give me a way to contact you for customer service, and I never hear back from you. I still haven't. Not great. That's not great. So unfortunately, yeah, that happens. Checkout failed 3 times in a row. Wow. Create an account checkout. Free shipping. Free shipping was $25. Oh, I see. And all bundles were $24.99. Yeah, which, I mean, I guess if you're buying multiple bundles, but yeah. Dude, shipping is we're living in a dream world with this new version of super fast delivery for everything. This is coming from my economics, commercial real estate side of what I do for a living, where I'm going, I don't think this is remotely sustainable. You even see it now from Amazon. Really shitty packaging of things. You could tell it's straining them. It used to be 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. That's what was normal for any kind of delivery stuff, which is why we mostly all went to a store, because then you have stores with their warehouses and a logistics system that can take advantage of economies of scale. So you ship all your products to a central place, the store, it could be an anchor type big store. It could be a little shop, whatever. And then people go and buy it themselves and take it home, right? And that makes more sense than you're shipping from warehouses to a million different addresses all over the place. You lose something in doing that. And having also worked as a delivery guy, well, I was a courier for the company I'm with now, doing other things. It is rough on your car. You put a lot of miles on that vehicle. It can be rough on you too. You're exposing yourself to a lot of danger on the road all day long. And I'm going, are they really paying these guys enough? Because like after 3 years, I'm like going, I got to get another job. I can't keep doing this. It's very convenient at the time. And I was a definite underachiever, but long term. So yeah, I think something's going to give, and I think it's already starting to give. But at any rate, Cruel Universe 2, cosmic horror, might be very, very cool. We'll have to see. Okay, let's talk about some new stuff that's shown up in the den. And we're going to start this off with Silver Age Superman. Now this is a gift from somebody who may in fact be in the chat. But you never know if people want to be called out for their kindnesses in that particular way. Is this another doll collector stream for nerds? It sure is, Lone Dragon. And if you're not into that, maybe you should go somewhere else. And if you're just being funny, that's cool too. But came with a couple other really groovy things. Some Golden Age books. Super, super nice. I super, super appreciate it. It now gives me a great excuse to start spending money on comic books that I probably shouldn't have. But I can't wait to dig in on this dude and check him out. Have not opened it up and gotten everything out yet, but I think he looks pretty good. It'll look good, I think, with the Fleischer Superman that I got. Check it out. That's nice. Is that? Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything like that, man. Anyways, cool art. I'm wondering if that's Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. You got to get those names right. So that's very cool. Can't wait to look in on him. I just realized I haven't actually bagged and boarded anything either. My desk is like so full of stuff. It's crazy. Got this dude, which is a good example of the be careful what you no, man, that's cool. That's cool. I clipped them off too, so don't worry about it, man. Yeah, so it's Fleischer Superman in the new McFarlane style. And so I got those friggin' Justice Society figures, and then you go, oh, Justice Society figures. I mean, what would be better than a Fleischer Superman to go with those guys? But that was one that I'd been looking for at a good price, and I got it. And so I went for it, about like half of what it normally goes for. Yeah, I know, dude, the Superpowers line, I gotta be honest with you, like, when I started, what was it? It was because of like the Justice League International, they had a couple figures, and I'm like going, oh man, I can't resist. But I gotta say, like, they make a lot of really great figures in that line. I'll give McFarlane a lot of credit. I also picked this dude up. This is that Marvel Legends, the retro 3/4 inch line. Now, this is a good example of haunting like eBay for stuff and taking a shot. Pops up eBay auction. Nobody had bid yet. It's maybe like 4 or 5 days left on the auction, right? So I'm like, okay, his starting bid was 99 cents. All right, I'll throw in $1. I'm not going to get it, but I'll throw in $1. Dude, like 5 days later, you won the auction. So I got this dude for actually 99 cents. And it was like $5 for shipping. So why not, man? And I got a bunch of like the Avengers figures and stuff already sitting on laying on my desk at work, because the cleaning folks apparently like bumped the cubicle with maybe a vacuum and everything was knocked up. Well, they tried to put them back up, and it was pretty bad. And it's fine. Look, I'm not mad at them or anything like that, yeah, so I'm like, I need to get some stands for these dudes. And the stands that I got don't fit them. So they're still like laying on the desk, but one of these days. Okay. So What else did I get? Oh, I did get these. I talked about those a second ago. I'm trying to like fan them out, and I'm doing it in reverse. So these are like the, kind of like the digest things. I wanted to give them a shot. I like the more retro Archie. So I tried out, Katie Keene didn't do much for me. I thought, maybe it's like, kind of cooler 40s, 50s stuff. And there were some 40s, 50s stories in it, but I think just not really for me. So I'm probably going to pass this one on to like, Goodwill or whoever. I will say this though, cool thing that they did in this was like all the outfits are designed by readers and they get credited for it and stuff. And I thought that is a really, especially we're talking the 50s, right? Great way to interact with your readership. And I remember they did that with Heroes for Hire, DC. And I know they did that. They had a contest for like designing new costumes for Supergirl at one point. And they would say, she's trying this one out. And it was designed by so-and-so. So that's really cool. Then we got Laugh. And we got Life with Archie. So haven't cracked into those two yet, but looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm almost done with Heavy Metal. So one of these will become, no Jughead yet. I might get that at some point. I'm kind of getting back into Archie. So, I'm easing my way into it. And I started by getting some of the facsimile editions, and then I grabbed one of the newer digests when we went to Barnes & Noble. They had a bunch on the magazine rack. So I love the stuff from like the, like in the 50s into the 70s into the early 80s. Did I say Heroes for Hire? I did. Dial H for Hero. Sorry. Dial H for Hero is what I meant. Yeah. But, they could have done that. Design new costumes for Luke Cage every issue. That could have been cool. I meant Dial H for Hero. Heroes for Hire is pretty cool too, though. God, that was a great comic. Man, so many good comics. What else? Oh, I grabbed this. So it's a facsimile, Detective 27, where they introduced this new character called Batman. He never really did anything. He died, but no. What I thought was cool though is it is the bigger size, and it is very much newsprint. So I mean, it definitely has the look of an old comic book. There's Batman kicking a little ass, taking a few names. Yeah, so it took me. This is not like mega new. No, I did not know. See, yeah, if it's a relaunch, dude, I don't. God bless you, reboots, reimaginings, read this, read that. No. The Star Wars prequels were enough for me to go, I don't think this is for me. Like, I liked it in the past. I don't necessarily need to see the new version of it. Again, God bless you. If you like all that stuff, I'm not speaking against you. But you know what came up was the Indiana Jones, the Crystal Skull movie. When that came out, I was like going, no, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. And a buddy of mine was like, what? You're not going to see it? I go, no. I go, so I'm done with the reboot thing or the, sequel 30 years after the original kind of thing. I'm just kind of done with that. And it sometime later, we're talking and he goes, you never did go see that one movie. I go, no, I didn't. He goes, yeah, that was a good choice. I'm like, yeah. One comic the size of a rose. Oh yeah, dude. I got a few of those. They're in the closet though. I love the Treasury size. And that's what I wanted to get was the Winter Olympics one. I thought that looked really like crazy and cool, but I haven't picked it up yet. And they're making facsimiles of some of those too. And they're doing some new ones. Like they did the 3-issue Legend of the Batman miniseries. They put it just out recently in the big size. I always call them Treasury, but I think Marvel called them Treasury and DC something different. They're just all Treasury size to me. So that was really cool though. So they are putting new, and I think did they do the Batman Hush, which I don't know anything about, but that's a new one. And they put that out in the large size too. It's cool because like you get the bigger art. And I think my favorite from all those is Batman versus the Incredible Hulk. I know, sounds ridiculous, but Jose Luis Garcia Lopez art is flipping amazing in that thing. So I'm like, dude, I'm in. All right, so here was like the thing I was most excited about getting this week, because I've been looking for one of these at a good price. It wasn't terrible. Cheap. Okay, well, yeah, I'll maybe take a look if you dug it, if they really got it right. Okay, cool. So this is one I've been looking for, this toy for a while. It was one I always kind of wanted as a kid, never got. And it was kind of at a point where I was sort of getting out of toys, but it was like, man, that thing is really, really cool looking. I think it's my favorite Batmobile design in a way ever. And I do love the 66 Batmobile, but I always thought this was really cool. This is the Kenner Superpowers Batmobile. You see, I got the dynamic duo sitting in it. Now, you can find these on eBay. Very often, they're missing the front and maybe front or and back windows. This one pops up for about half the price that these things usually go for. And I'm looking at it going, okay, what's wrong with it? Well, it has the friggin' windows. And one of the things I like about it is it does feel like a car that would actually work sort of in reality, as opposed to a super design. Now, hit these, pops this dude out. He can hit people with it, because, you know, Batman was all about hitting people with his car. Oh, that's cool. But at any rate, it popped up for like half of what these things usually go for. And I'm like, okay, where's the trick? What am I missing? I'm looking at the pictures. Okay, that looks good. And it was buy it now. It wasn't an auction. Buy it now. I'm going for it. I'm doing it. I don't know where the hell I'm putting this thing, but I'm doing it. And then, of course, the day it's supposed to arrive, it doesn't. And it looks like it's been shifted to another like regional. I was like going, oh, tell me the post office did not lose this thing. Come on. It didn't. It showed up the next day. My wife had to hear me complaining. Why the hell can't they do friggin' just, you know? She's like, it'll show up. It's usually fine. I'm like, no. I know they're going to lose the damn thing that I've been trying to get for all these years. Okay. I was wrong. Post office, I apologize. I was wrong. They got it here. So anyways, this is just one I always thought was really cool. Great looking toy. And to find it basically completely intact, I already had the figures, which I'll be honest with you, I got because I'm going, someday I am going to get that Batmobile. I don't know when, I don't know how. But I figured if I do, I'm going to get it. It's not going to have the front windows. I'm going to have to like get those separate, or maybe somebody out there is 3D printing them now. Cool, whatever. I'll maybe do it. I'll plunge someday. But I got it, I want to say $30. And it's in good shape. So again, here's the trick. Maybe I shouldn't tell everybody. And it's not like people know this already, but maybe somebody doesn't know it. You can do a search on eBay for something you're interested in. You know, say Action Comics #1. I don't know how many of those would ever show up on eBay, but that's what I want. I'm going to look for that. And you could save the search. And what it does, it will email you anytime something meeting the criteria of that search is added to eBay. So I have a lot of searches on it. Then a lot of them are more general. Like I got one for Space 1999, you know, which sometimes brings up DVDs of Office Space, because the movie Office Space came out in 1999. But so Space 1999 merchandise, whatever, I'll get an email every morning. Here's a bunch of stuff. So I have it for like the Kenner Superpowers, and I have it for a few things. Like Bronze Age comics, I think, is one that I did. And what I'll do is I'll scroll through, and if you see something that really catches your eye or has a really, good price on it, and I take a look at it. And of course, sometimes the really good price is because it's an auction, It's just starting out, so the price is low. And like, well, with the Hulk, all right, I'll throw in 99 cents and maybe I get lucky. Who knows? And I did. Sometimes you'll find something at a great price and you click on it and somebody already bought it because they saw it too. And that's what I was afraid of with that Batmobile. I'm like, I got to move quick. I got to move quick. Somebody's going to see this. Even if it's just a reseller, they're going to want to resell this thing because they could sell it for twice that much probably for the shape that it's in. But you do that, and I'm giving away the secrets here, folks. What can I say? Because I love the people. I love the people. But yeah, if there's something you're really looking for, you can set up those alerts on eBay, and maybe you find what you're looking for, and frankly, maybe you don't. But whatever. It's an email. It pops up. Actually, the first thing I did it with, there's a fanzine for Star Trek called, what was it? Starfleet something. And it's always just like, it's like technical stuff on what the ships look like or aliens. And I'd gotten a few of those and I'm looking for more of them. That was the first time I realized, I'm like, I just thought save this search meant I could go back to eBay, and just click on it and it would search for me without me typing it in again. Oh, Starfleet Handbook. That's what it was. And it's like, oh no, it pops up in your email. Oh, shit. And I started, so I'll get like 30 emails every morning of all this different stuff. And, and especially if I've just made a purchase like this one, then it's me going through, just delete. I'm not buying anything. I've bought too much stuff already. But once in a while, man, you get lucky. So if there's stuff you're looking for, not a bad way to sort of let eBay find it for you. And again, if you're quick, you're paying attention, you might get a really good bargain on it. All right. Last phase of the live show is, I'm going to bring up the slideshow again. There's Cruel Universe. Oh, crap. I missed one. Son of a... I must not have added this to my list. Okay, I'm sorry. Mezco. These are like 3 3/4 inch figures. Batman 89. It's pretty cool, man. Like, they look good. They kind of look like the old Kenner figures, but I think they're just 5 points, and they're called like 5 points. And so I think it's just 5 points of articulation. So legs, arms, etc. So like a Star Wars figure, basically. But they also got some for the animated series, which are pretty cool. And they got the 89 Batmobile. And they got this very cool. That one to me is like, oh man, that's kind of rad. I don't need that at all. And I don't think I'll buy it, but I'm going, kind of cool that's floating around out there. And what I liked was the prices are not bad. There we go. That's the first of the movies I'm going to review. Prices are not bad. So you might want to look for those. Mezco 5 point. I think they've done it for some other series as well. But a lot of that stuff you're going, well, that's cool, but damn, that's expensive. They were pretty well priced. I want to say figures were like $20, $25. So just about like a Super 7. That's kind of standard for that kind of thing right now. So they were in the right ballpark. All right. Get ready for some eclectic film reviews of what I watched this week. I actually watched quite a few more things than I thought I was going to. No Man's Woman. It's kind of film noir. It's almost like a soap opera though. Mary Windsor is in it playing like a female J.R. Ewing. She is bad, and so it's all about her screwing over a lot of people. And then she's found dead, and who did it? And the police get involved, and that's like the rest of the movie. Not bad. Mostly, I just enjoyed her performance, just being utterly rotten and like trying to seduce men and screw people out of money and everything like that. It was kind of fun. 1955. So if you just have some free time, you might want to check out No Man's Woman. It reminded me a little bit plot wise from a movie that came out, I think like 2 years later, called Three Bad Sisters, which is also very like soap opera-y, these evil women going after each other. One of the sisters is good. The other two are evil. I have a movie review, Curse of the Demon. Do I know that one? I'll look into it. I'll look into that for sure. God help me if I remember, but I know I'll look into it. Curse of the Demon, 1957. I think I have it on my list of stuff to watch. So I think it popped up like on YouTube or something. Yeah, I'll check that one out for sure. So next up, Moon Rainbow, 1983, Soviet sci-fi. Now, there's some good Soviet sci-fi out there. Solaris comes to mind. A lot of people love, I'll be honest, I haven't seen it, but I know very highly regarded. Moon Rainbow, I don't know it makes that list. I'm not even sure like what I actually watched. So it has to do, and this is, man, sometimes life just hands these to you. It's about a number of astronauts who set off in space to probe Uranus. I know, and they hadn't changed the way they pronounced it yet because people weren't laughing yet. So they go off for this Uranus probe, and they come back with like psychic powers. Okay. And there's a sequence early on with one of the characters going through like this training thing. It's kind of cool. And then it just sort of sits there. It's a lot of talking. They never make it clear, like, are these people a threat, or does the state think they're a threat and it's going to do something about it and they're going to have to defend themselves? And then it shifts focus to a different astronaut who's got a wife, and it sort of like meanders a little bit. And there's like no, not yet. Yeah. But, there's like no point to it. And the visuals are just not cool enough to say, well, I don't care. Like the Modesty Blaze that I talked about, you know, I mean, it has a plot, but the plot's not that important in a way. It's very much about these moments and about the visuals, and Moon Rainbow just can't quite make it there. So I started off with it going, okay, this is kind of cool. I can maybe get into this. And then, wait, what happened? What are they? Well, are they going to do so? Well, what's this? Well, who? Well, why? Well, who gives a shit? It's just sort of like, it's like the film equivalent of, so that happened, and then they don't do anything with it. So kind of got to go thumbs down on Moon Rainbow. This is like B-movie territory. Jinx Money, 1948. It's a Bowery Boys movie. But I will say this. First of all, I enjoy the Bowery Boys movies. No, they're not high cinema. They're not high art. They're goofy. It's, you know, like maybe a level below the Three Stooges comedy-wise. But for some reason, I just like them. I just have fun watching them. And I hadn't seen this one yet. This one, though, it was good. It was funny. Decent plot to it for what plot there is. But you also got, you got Sheldon Leonard in it, playing, of course, a gangster type. You got Donald McBride, who, one of my favorite like character actors. He usually played an angry cop. I want to say he was the hotel dick in the Marx Brothers room service movie, yelling jumping butterballs all the time. He was in Topper Returns, I think the third Topper movie, Hal Roach. Very funny in that. I just love the dude. So he was in it playing an angry cop, of course. Ben Weldon, who, dude, played a bad guy on like every other episode of the 50s Superman TV show. So you had these character actors. I liked it. I genuinely, it wasn't even just, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It ain't that good. Okay. Well, I want to watch it anyways now. So at any rate, yeah, you got very, very varying levels of decency or not decency, but how decent the movie is for Bowery Boys. But Jinx Money, I genuinely liked. And now for something almost completely different, but not quite. Daigoro versus Goliath, 1972. It is a kids kaiju movie from Japan. It was subtitled. It's not the greatest copy in the world that I found on YouTube. And I'll say this: I looked up like a DVD, and they're not that cheap. I genuinely enjoyed this movie. Like, I probably shouldn't have. Daigoro is like, he's the hungry monster. And he's kind of like a juvenile kaiju that they're raising in Japan. But the problem is he eats so much that they're running out of money. And there's even this bit where all these taxpayers are complaining about their taxes going to feed the monster. And this other dude yelling at him, calling them cheap bastards. It's fucking great. So they want to try to like stunt his growth so he won't eat that much. The comedy relief dude I actually liked, which you don't always in these kind of things. If you have like an hour and a half, again, this is not great cinema, but I actually had fun watching Daigoro versus Goliath. And then, so I finish it yesterday, and like YouTube will pop up other suggestions. And of all things, it pops up a black film from 1947. So like an all black cast. Boy, what a girl. I was telling my wife, I go, it's funny. I've probably watched more like all black cast films from this period than probably 99% of current day black Americans. A lot of them are good and some of them aren't great, but you never know what you're going to get. But this one, it's a comedy musical with some friggin' great music in it, like a lot of good acts. They even bring Gene Krupa in at one point. And it's kind of cool. Like he shows up where they're doing this garden party. And there's a dude playing drums and stuff. And Krupa shows up and he goes, "Hey, let me have the sticks," okay. And he gives it to him. And so he gets in there, the whole thing. And he goes, "All right, now you're going to be in my next movie, right?" "Yeah, absolutely." Okay. It was just kind of a cool little moment. But what kind of makes it is Tim Moore, who is probably best known for playing Kingfish on the 50s Amos and Andy show. Dude is legit funny. And he's in this in drag the entire time. But it's part of like this act that he's doing. Like it's a comedy act. And of course they do the hat thing where this guy is like, "I think I want to marry this woman," and you're going, dude, even if that really was a woman, what? But funny movie, well acted, some good comedy bits in it. I laughed quite a bit. Some of the lines, freaking great music, and a lot of it. I never heard of it before. Boy, what a girl, 1947. Go check it out, man. You might dig it. And if you've never ever watched some of these films from back then, I know a lot of people act like the only time a black person was in a movie back in the 40s was playing like a porter on a railroad or a servant or something like that. And for what you would call like mainstream white movies, that's pretty much true. But there was a whole lot of movies that were made for black audiences back then that don't carry that kind of stigma. Although sometimes you'll see very similar comedy, because as much as some people might nowadays think, oh, it was just done to be racist. No, a lot of times that was just like comedy from black vaudeville that would make its way in, like Matt and Moreland and the Charlie Chan movies. He was a black vaudevillian, and that was like his act. It's the stuff he did for either audience, because you can see him in all black cast movies at the time doing the Matt and Moreland bit. That was his shtick. And in my opinion, you go like, why are you allowed to laugh at that when it's Abbott and Costello, specifically when it's Costello doing this stuff? But I'm supposed to feel bad because Matt and Moreland, it's his character. He was doing great stuff. So you might want to check those out. And there was one, I think it was called like a Murder on Lenox Street. that I put on. Not a great movie, to be honest with you. It was a little stiff. It was a little stilted, which this movie was not at all. It was, sometimes the movies will be a little stiff. This one wasn't. But Murder on Lenox Street was a little stiff. But then the police detective shows up. Now, a lot of these, I'll put them on in the background while I'm working on stuff, so I'm not looking at the screen the whole time. This police detective starts talking, and I'm like going, did Darth Vader just walk into the room? I flip over, and then I'm like, oh my God, it's James Earl Jones's dad. And their voices were very similar, and it was just cool. It was like, oh my God, I've never gotten to see him. Well, that's a lie. He was in, what is it? With Paul Newman and Robert Redford, The Sting. He was in The Sting, played a role in that, but I'd never seen him in something old, from when he was like a more active actor. So check those things out, man. There's a few of them, and a lot of them are really fun. They're really good. And I did enjoy this movie. I laughed at it quite a bit. So then, for something completely different, I watched the third Phantomos movie last week, not realizing it was a third of a series. So I'm like, okay, I got to watch the first one. Dude, 1964, French film, so it is subtitled, which, by the way, a good thing, because I think you really want to hear the actors' voices in this, even if you don't know what they're saying. You want to see how they're acting the parts. Good flick. Like, it's funny. Some genuinely good action, some very cool stunts, some cool special effects, maybe a little clunky part here and there, but I dug it. So I'm going to definitely watch the second movie like next week. And I think I'm going to do like a full review for my channel of Phantomos. It's very cool. You see the friggin' makeup on him. Basically, master criminal, can't be caught. You got a goofy police inspector going after him, who plays the part great, and his assistant, very funny stuff. You got Jean Marais is basically playing Phantomos, and he plays a reporter, and he's good in it. What's her name? Is it Mylène Demange? I'm trying to think of her first name. She's his girlfriend. He's his girlfriend, or she's his girlfriend, and she's great. It's a solid friggin' movie. It's on Tubi. Kino Lorber put out the 3 DVD set. Dude, the Blu-ray and the DVD sets are under like $25 for the 3 movies. So I'm going to probably pick up the DVDs, because that's a great price. But I genuinely enjoyed it. And since I like the first and I like the third, pretty good chance the second is going to keep the quality up. So you might want to check that out. Now, last movie, sort of movie, called a short, really. I just watched this like before I did the stream. Oh no, crap. I forgot this one. I didn't have this on my list. We watched this last night on Svengoolie. I'd never watched the Blair Witch Project. In 1999, I had a 1-year-old in the house. So now my 1-year-old is in her 20s. And so it was on House of Svengoolie last night. So that's with Gwyngooley and Imp and Nostalgia Ferratu, who friggin' kills me, I have to say. So I watched it, and it's pretty good. Although I will say the shaky cam did actually, my stomach was a little off. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that I found it scary, but I kind of appreciated the effect and what they went for. And I think they did a pretty good job of 3 people out lost in the woods yelling at each other. Like, it felt real. I have a feeling if they'd filmed it normal, it actually could have been a scarier movie. But I give them credit for what they did, and it was kind of cool. I'd never seen it before, so finally, got to watch Blair Witch Project. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. I thought they did okay with it. So this I watched earlier today. Kung Fury, the movie. I don't know. I think they just posted this thing, and I could be wrong. Dude, it's better than anything that Marvel or DC has put out in the last decade. I'll tell you that right now. Utterly ridiculous, over the top. You have Schwarzenegger in it playing the president of the United States. You have Hasselhoff in it, who at one point basically does the Turbo Teen bit. Yeah, and becomes a car it's nuts. Hitler has returned from where they destroyed him in the other Kung Fury. There's a new guy in it called Colt Magnum. It's just like, if you just like over the top stupid, dude, go check it. I think it was like 10 minutes. It's on YouTube. It's free. You really can't. Oh yeah, Nostromo. Yeah, okay. I love it. There's actually a chat thing going that doesn't necessarily even involve me. That is very cool. That's what I want for this channel. More than anything, I want that, and I want to be able to retire and make money off it. That's probably not going to happen, but that's okay. I'm having a good time. So Fins the Spook. The marketing was amazing, and I think they really did a good job with the found footage aspect of it. It did feel real. It felt really like three people who were going through something in the woods, But of course, part of it is you don't really get to see, and then it's kind of like things are happening suddenly. It maybe like it. I don't know. Maybe if the tension ramped up a little earlier and kept building, it felt like it kind of, and then the tension really ramped. But I like it. I did enjoy it. If it was like done in normal style and you got more glimpses of like whatever was chasing them, I could see something like that. But I think it was a cool move. And dude, $250 million, which equates to almost $500 million now. Like there's some big budget stuff that's having trouble getting to $500 million worldwide. And this thing was made on a shoestring. Like, so at a minimum, you got to go, congratulations. Amazing work. Kung Fury, on the other hand, I don't know if it's going to make a dime, but it is one of the greatest ridiculous action movies that is only actually 10 minutes long you will ever see. I was a big fan. All right, last review. And this is, did I have an image for that? I did, which is silly because I also have the book. So like I said, I'm probably 80% through the Heavy Metal #1 that they've just released. This thing has got a lot in it. Let me take this thing down. I don't really need that right up there. So this thing has got a ton in it. A lot of stories from big names, great art. It's like, was it like 230 pages? It's about 230 pages for $15. Nice magazine stock, like it's pretty solid from that alone. Now some of the stories I like better than others, but some of them are very cool. They're generally fairly short and continued, which is cool. So yeah, I got to say, I mean, when they first started talking about it, I was like, I don't know if I really need it or not. I got Heavy Metals back in the day and it was cool. It's European comics, but I'll admit part of it was because I was 13 and I could get it off the rack at 7-Eleven and there was nudity in it. And it's like, well, when you're 13, that's pretty darn cool. But I mean, over time, you kind of go, no, I mean, I appreciate this is some really cool stuff, real cool work from artists and, not just Europe, America too. That's more fringy, but I like it, right? But okay, so they're bringing back Heavy Metal. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I'm probably not going to get it. But then Free Comic Book Day, I go over to Alternative Reality Comics, and I'm like, I'll pick a few things up though, because it's like I'll pick up a couple free books, great, but I want to spend some money there too. That's kind of the point, is to help keep comic book shops alive, not just to get freebies. So up at the counter, it'd be pretty rad, and they might. But up at the counter, they have this like up there, and I was like, oh, that is new Heavy Metal, and I thought it was already out. I'm like, okay, well, screw it, $15. I'll throw it in. I'll grab it. I'm pretty happy with it. Now I might get another one. Cause again, the price point's pretty damn good for 230 pages. I mean, it's not all comic. There's like an article about like sort of heavy metals, history. And there was an article on Tim Hildebrandt, kind of paying homage to him because he just had passed away recently. But it is mostly comics, and they're solid. And 230 pages for $15, like, that's pretty rad. I mean, I do a lot of crowdfunding indie stuff that's more expensive, which I understand why. It's smaller press, but yeah, so I'll probably maybe get like, a couple of them. I don't know if I'll keep up with it, because again, it's like, where are you going to put all these things? At this point, we need to add on to the house for all the crap that I'm buying. But at any rate, if you're wondering if the quality's up there, yeah, I think it is. And if you liked heavy metal from the past, you're going to see a lot of familiar stuff in their faces. Probably check it out. I think, again, for the price point, even if you only try out the first one, you're only out $15, so it's not the end of the world. Okay, I think we'll put heavy metal back up there because it's a little rad bit of Frazetta. So I think, what are we in? Like, yeah, we're over an hour, man. So, hey, awesome that we had some folks. Lone Dragon, thanks for being in the chat. I really do appreciate it. And Finn's the Spook, and dude, I mean, I got it over here underneath other stuff. I was telling my wife, I'm like, I'm going to have to get like another table in here for all the doodads I'm showing. And I didn't even bag and board anything. Here's a facsimile that I was going to bag and board. I didn't. Very cool. That was their soft reboot of Superman in the Bronze Age. But Finch, thank you, man. I really, really appreciate that. Very groovy. Thanks anybody who showed up, who popped in. Hey, man, join the chat. Love to have folks in there talking. And I love that there was some conversations going on. That's really, really, really cool. But I think that'll do it for Dad Live in the Den for, what are we, May 18th? May 18th. Oh, my God, we're almost halfway through the year. So, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. Oh, this week, I don't have my little graphic built yet. Justice League number 20 on Monday. I'm going to be reviewing the TV movie Vampire from 1979 on Wednesday. And on Friday, I do not friggin' remember what I had scheduled for Friday. Video's shot. I know that. I've uploaded it. I don't remember what it is. On Friday, a surprise video review from me. I don't know what the hell it is, but undoubtedly it will be just wonderful. Have I seen Star Chaser Legend of Orin? My friend, I got a review from last week up of Star Chaser The Legend of Orin. So check it out. It seems like one of those reviews that just like it didn't jump into the algorithm for whatever reason. But yeah, I did a full review of it. I thought it was awesome, dude. I mean, it's definitely a bit derivative of Star Wars in places, and I didn't care one bit because I think they put their own little spin on things. The graphics are cool. I like the characters. So yeah, absolutely have seen it, and you could find that review on my channel if you are so inclined. But so with that, we will close out this stream. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And I'll hopefully see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.